probably going to be the only person on tech YouTube that's going to say this, but is the 5060 actually pretty good-ish? I want to be clear. I'm not saying that anyone should go out there and pay $300 for this 8 gigabyte card. I don't think anyone should go out and actually get an 8 gigabyte card for a gaming computer that they expect to play with any kind of resolution and any kind of high settings at all in 2025. However, you know, there's some things I saw in a recent review that I'm going to show you here in a minute that are kind of eye-opening. Also, for those of you asking about my 5080 that I've been kind of teased in the very first video, I have a story that's coming for this thing. This thing is one of the worst purchases I've ever had in my entire life. I'm going to talk about that next week. The reason why I'm not talking about it yet is because the story is technically still ongoing. But by next week, I should have a conclusion to the story, and I'm going to tell you why that was a terrible, terrible purchase. And it's not for the reasons you think. Anyway, yesterday, the 5060 was actually released and reviewed by Hardware and Box, which those guys are freaking phenomenal. They're literally out of their own country at an event and can't even get to their good side. And they review the damn card. These guys are beast mode. Let's talk a little bit about one of the things that they did show. They did a whole bunch of gaming tests, and I looked at this and I was like, something weird's going on. So let's look at one of the first screens that caught my eye, because everyone wanted us to think, or at least let us know, that they thought this was going to be a terrible card to buy. But there were instances where this thing actually looked kind of good, and this is one of them. Phantom Liberty, again, this is Hardware Unboxed. Phantom Liberty at 1080p, which is all you should be using this card at, destroyed the 4060. It's 100 frames versus 78, which, by the way, you know, you might think, oh, that's not destroying. This is 1080p high quality, no DLSS, no nothing. You put any of that stuff in there, including frame generation, which I know some of you don't want frame generation, and this thing now destroys the 4060 at $300. 100 frames per second at 1080p high for my $300 video card is not bad. The 8 gig thing comes into play. I get it. And I'm not saying that you should get this because it's 8 gigs. You definitely shouldn't. But it isn't as bad as we thought it would be. You look at some of these other benchmarks, and again, look, 36% better than the 4060 on a Plague Tale Requiem, ultra quality 1080p. This is not a bad increase in performance. You will not be able to tell me otherwise. Again, terrible that it's 8 gigs. Minimum 12 should be on this thing. And if we could get 16, we would love that. But this is not bad. And I like how, you know, this was kind of downplayed in this review. Like, oh yeah, you know, 36, but most of the time it doesn't. You got to give the devil its due. Yes, the 5060 is definitely a card that shouldn't exist for gamers who want any kind of quality for $300. You should be getting it no less than 12 gigabytes. I get it. I totally get it. But 36% increase is not bad for a year. I don't know what they're doing here and how they're getting this to work so well, because again, I think the unfortunate reality is we hear a lot of stuff from larger tech YouTubers that make us think that it's DOA. And I hope in some way that it kind of is, because we need to push back against Nvidia. The biggest problem with Nvidia cards is people will buy them no matter how bad they are. So Nvidia doesn't have the need to ever make things better. Apple did the same thing. You know, I come from the tech space where, you know, I covered Apple for a long time, and they did a similar thing with phone storage. Like, they wouldn't move off 32 gigs for a long time and then 64 gigs for a long time, even though there were tons of phones out there with 128 gigs of storage. And Apple just wasn't moving, and they were charging just as much. It's the same thing here, where we're getting charged just about as much in some instances. Now, AMD just released and announced, I should say, their 60 version of a card, $300 for their 8 gig, which again is not being looked at, but $350 for 16 gig. Now that is interesting. I think the big thing that complicates all of this is the fact you can't buy these things at MSRP pretty much anywhere. So it's going to be interesting to see what the real price of that is. We'll take a look at real-time pricing here in a second, but again, if we let's look at a couple more of these screenshots, because I feel like it's really interesting. This card is I still think it's better than it probably should be. It's only 2 frames behind a 3070 in Star Wars Jedi Survivor on 1440p epic quality. You're hitting around 60, 1% lows of 47. This is great testing, by the way, and Hardware Unbox is just, they're so excellent in what they do. I really, really like these guys, really appreciate them. And when you compare it to other video cards, you kind of think, well, what am I actually getting as a gamer? I think the people who are buying cards like this, they want the best performance, but really what comes down to is how much money they can spend. If this thing is $300, it definitely should have more than 8 gigs, but if you only have $300 and you can get it at $300, it's not a terrible card. I know people are going to probably say that that's terribly wrong. You shouldn't say that sort of thing, but bro, I mean, look at this. I personally don't think you should be using a 3060 for or any 60 series card for 1440p when you're using epic quality. I don't think you should be doing it. It's just like 1080p, crank it up. That's fine. But you can get over 60 at 1440 ultra quality Warhammer 40,000. You're getting 70. What's going on? There's a lot of hate for this card, and probably rightfully so. And if I can get it for $300, I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm going to get it and review it too. It's not going to look like this. I'm going to give you the real review. I'm going to give you one of those grimy reviews. You ain't going to get all these bar charts. So I'm going to tell you if this thing is worth your cash. But I got to tell you, for as a dead on arrival as this video card should be, I don't think it will be. Now, can you buy them right now? And I feel like the hardest thing about buying video cards right now is not just the scalping, but the availability of certain cards. So we're going to take a look right now and see what is available for the 5060, which is only 8 gigs. Remember, there is no 16 gig version, which would be great if there was a 16 gig version of this thing. By the way, I also noticed in computer tech YouTube that there's not a lot of edits, so I'm not going to edit this. All right, here we are. So if we're looking at PC Part Picker and we see what's in, okay, so this is $319. Can we actually get it right now? I mean, it's $20 over MSRP. Yep, looks like we can get it B&H. All right. Can we get a $299 out of stock? This is what I'm saying. People are buying this. People are like, oh, you can get it anywhere. Can you though? And again, overpriced. Definitely overpriced. $369, get out of here. All the things are out of stock. This is what I'm saying. So how are we supposed to hold? This is probably the closest. Oh, there's a $299 right here. Okay, there's an Asus Prime. For all the crap they get, there is one in stock here at Newegg. So there is one. Okay, maybe should I get this? Do you want me to buy this and kind of run it through some paces? Would y'all want that? I don't think you'd want that, but Newegg got some sales going on. That's another video I'm gonna do. I might actually create a computer here with you guys and gals watching this. It might be kind of fun to do, but $300. If you don't have more than $300, and maybe this is even a stretch for you, maybe $300 is just like, this is all I got, play out. Like I'm not eating for the rest of the month. If you can actually just bring yourself to the conclusion that you probably shouldn't run 1440p games. You probably shouldn't run high textures. You probably shouldn't do any of those things. And you're okay with that, running some stuff potato. It's going to work. It's going to work pretty good for a while, because the other thing is these developers, while they are starting to kind of push into more than 8 gigs of video RAM for their games, they also know there's a tremendous amount of people that have 8 gig video cards. So while they can, help go above that for people like you and I that might have a video card that has more VRAM than that, there's too many people in the industry, in the ecosphere of people buying these cards that have only 8 gigs, that there's no way they're just going to let them out in the cold. There will be a setting for people with 8 gigs for a long time. It probably shouldn't be that way, but there will be. And as these continue to get sold, that's going to extend that life even longer. So what's holding back the industry isn't really the developers. It's stuff like this. Coming out with a brand new card in 2025 with 8 gigs means that minimally for the next 4 to 5 years, devs are going to have to keep that in mind, because that video card is just sold now. It's being sold right now. So just expect that there will always be something. Now, does that mean that you're going to miss out on some stuff? Absolutely. As even the console generation right now, I think has like 12 gigs of storage that they can use, RAM they can use for video RAM. So something like this, while holding back the industry, also gives these people a little bit of breathing room. So if you bought a 5060, sound off in the comments. I won't let anyone roast you. Don't worry. I'm not judging. If y'all force me to buy this, I might buy it, but I'm not trying to. I really don't want to buy it. Let the other YouTubers who are getting this stuff sent to them for free or stuff, let them review it. Don't take it out on me. I don't need this. But I will say that it is a compelling price point. $300 is something that I think we should see more video cards at. I'm actually surprised that there's any of these at 300. Again, there's only like one listing at all that's 300. They do have a Newegg, and it's sold out everywhere else. So what will happen when AMD's video card comes out? Will it sell out immediately? Will it even be at the $300 for 8 gigs and $350 for 16 gigs? Will we find those actual prices on store shelves? I think also with the tariffs, everything goes. Who knows what pricing is going to be? And then also these video card manufacturers are starting to see that they can charge more and still sell their products. 5090s, 5,000. I mean, you've seen some for $5,000, but even at retailer, $3,300. Like Best Buy is $3,000. And as a matter of fact, yesterday there were a couple of 5090s local to me. Let's see if they're even still available at Best Buy. I'm curious if I'm curious to see if they actually are still in stock. So this says see details. So it might actually be here, high demand. So maybe it is actually still is here, $3,000. If anyone, let's see, high demand product. So if we add the, will it work? I'm in line, so I guess it's still around. I guess you still can get it. Finally, you can get a $3,000 video card. Hurrah. But for the $300 folks, this is the time. It might actually be better than a lot of tech reviewers might want you to think, but I'm definitely not encouraging. I need to be very clear about this. I'm not encouraging you to buy them, but you tell me, are you going to buy it anyway? Leave me a comment below. Also, let me know, what do you think about the AMD card? Are you interested in buying that? Is the 60 series on the AMD side a little bit more compelling, especially for the price? Let me know, and I'll see you in the next one.